I don't know why you keep saying Icon has cheeseburger. That doesn't even make sense. I'm looking at the rules and it says very clearly that you cannot has cheeseburger. Look it up. I gotta go. I'm sorry about that, folks. Welcome to the internet. I'm Joshua from the reviews department. If you haven't already, clock in and have a seat. We got a ton of things to review. If you're new here, let me get you caught up real quick. You see, I've been hired to sit here at this office every week and review everything that ever existed on a scale of 1 to 100. So this machine's going to spit out topics. You and I are going to arbitrarily place them somewhere on a list objectively between Marshmallow Peeps and the best thing we've ever reviewed, title card. I've got to be on my best behavior this week, according to HR. Can't be hiding ham slices in people's desks and peeing in potted plants or whatever crazy shenanigans they accuse me of.
I'm king, and they know it.
Released in 1989, Teen Witch is an American fantasy comedy film about a teenage girl who learns she's a witch. And let me just say right up front that I'm pretty familiar with this movie, and it might be one of the most wildly 1980s things I've ever seen. Let's start with the cast. The Teen Witch herself, Louise, is played by Robin Lively, half-sister of Blake Lively, making Teen Witch the sister-in-law of Deadpool. So is this a part of the MCU now? We've got Zelda Rubinstein from Poltergeist, Dick Sargent from Bewitched. Witches, get it? Noah Blake's also in there, and you're probably like, who? We'll get to him later. Now, spoiler alert, we're about to speed run the plot of this movie because there's just way too much nonsense to cover in the time that we have. And I know that more than a few of you are going to want to watch it, and I don't want to ruin everything. So, decidedly uncool high schooler Louise wants star quarterback Brad to like her. But he's totally into Rhonda, and surprise, she's a cheerleader. Through a series of wacky traffic goofs, Louise ends up meeting a soothsayer named Madame Serena, who informs her that she is in fact a witch whose powers will begin to manifest on her 16th birthday. What kind of powers?
By the power of Grayskull.
The power of the sun.
Does the power have to do with the size or the strength of the bottom?
A week later, she's 16 years old now, and the high school theater teacher, who turns out to just be Mrs. Krabappel from The Simpsons, offhandedly gives her a random bit of costume jewelry from the theater department. And this turns out to be the actual necklace of a former witch. So this necklace apparently unlocks God mode for witches because she is slinging spells and turning people into dogs in no time. Standard witch stuff. Before you know it, every single teen movie trope attacks at once and in force, as Louise gets progressively more and more popular at school, thereby alienating her equally uncool friend Polly. She starts abusing her powers for gain, and even casts a spell to make football Brad like her. But hold on to your pointy hats, folks, because believe it or not, Louise eventually feels bad about all of her magical hijinks and unfair gains and breaking people's legs.
Break a leg, Kiki!
Fatality.
And that's when she learns that the real magic is believing in yourself. She gives the necklace to Madame Serena and metaphorically reverts to her original form, with a slew of bonus friends and social benefits now. The movie ends with Louise and Brad breaking it down at a high school dance because now Brad likes natural Louise when she's just being herself and not some vapid mind control sorceress. If that entire plot sounds familiar, it absolutely should. Teen Witch was originally conceptualized to be a female-led version of the 1985 coming-of-age werewolf comedy classic, Teen Wolf. Why do werewolves keep popping up in these things? Well. Movies with this exact same plot and theme have been made like 65 million times. So why are we even talking about it? What's so special? Let me tell you a little secret. You see, Teen Witch exists in a plane of existence where the only thing that makes sense is, nothing really. Let me just show you. At one point, Louise and Polly are riding their bikes, talking about how Polly has this big crush on Rhett.
Rhett? Capoletic?
When speak of the devil, they see him. It's Rhett. And this is a real problem for Polly because...
Look at how funky he is. I will never be hip.
Don't sell yourself short, Polly. How hip could he be?
I'm king, and they know it. When I snap my fingers, everybody says short. I'm hot, and you're not. But if you want to hang with me, I'll give it one shot. Top that.
And it's at this exact moment, as your brain's trying to accept the fact that this is a real movie, and that you're not on some weird prank show or in some strange version of hell, that this happens.
Supersonic, idiotic, disconnected, not respected. Who would ever really want to go and top that? Such your waist, a pretty face, but hanging in your nose space. I wish that you would take a look and really stop that, top that.
Now, it's at this point that you're probably telling yourself, oh, I get it, it's a musical. No, it's not at all. Later in the film, Louise finds herself on a disastrous date with 30-year-old David the Sex Pest.
I can drive through a fog like a hog with a heart on.
Louise has had just about enough of his nonsense, so she just blinks him out of existence forever. Like, he's just gone and never returns. Also, remember how this isn't a musical? The entire movie is just that.
Peace and manhood, you idiot!
What?
You want to smoke some weed?
What? What? Despite being a massive financial and critical failure, Teen Witch has gone on to be a huge cult classic movie, no doubt thanks to midnight showings and a surplus of rose-tinted glasses. Oh, and an appreciation for the movies. Well, you get it. Everyone needs to see this movie at least once in their life. That's why I left most of it out of the review. It's somehow really bad and really confusing and absolutely incredible all at the same time. And so I'm going to give Teen Witch a TardiGrade of 66 out of 100. And just one more thing real fast. Polly, if you're watching, girl, you were always hip. I'm giving you a TardiGrade of 70 out of 100.
Yeah, go home.
Yeah, just wherever. Jesus. Let's see what we got here. Dear Joshua, it has come to our attention that we are not hitting the necessary daily quota for reviews out of your department. As a result, you are required to conclude reviewing the enclosed topics by the close of business today. Thank you for your efforts in advance, Duncan. Okay, let's see what we... Rapid review! Okay, there's that. Let's see what we got here. Well, for starters, Rice Krispie Treats. This delicious brick of sugar and rice was invented in 1939 by Melita Jensen and Mildred Day at the Kellogg Company Home Economics Department. I mean, they're really easy to make. There's all the ingredients you need right there. And their awesome flavor is matched only by how incredibly bad they are for you and your glycemic index. So I'm going to give them a tardigrade right down the middle of 50 out of 100. Clothespins were originally patented in the early 1800s and have been used to pin clothes to clotheslines ever since. I guess you could make crafts with them, whatever these things are. It's a super simple design. It does what it's supposed to. And also, this guy puts them all over his face. We're going to give him a tardigrade of 74 out of 100. Up next, we have paragogy, which is the act of adding an additional letter or sound to the end of a word to create a new word or a specific emphasis on the word itself. Like when someone says anyway and adds an S to the end. Anyways, that's paragogy. Or like, have you ever heard someone excitedly say no or ooh, like no or ooh? That's also paragogy. Now, you might disregard these minor changes to pronunciation as irrelevant, inconsequential, or flat out wrong. But the truth is, a lot of words used all around the world today are derived from slow paragogic metamorphosis over time. For example, the sound at the end of pizza, paragogy. Because paragogy is one of the few devices through which human language naturally evolves over time to fit our contemporary needs. I'm going to score paragogy pretty high, but I'm going to have to take points away for every time some weird kid in elementary school told me that he got a new toy for Christmas. Gots. Drives me crazy. Also paragogy. 88 out of 100. So let's see what's next here. Oh. Beautiful poem. Oh, great Japanese haiku. Tardigrade. 90. This is a Chinese cabbage. It's kind of crunchy, kind of bitter. A little bit of bok choy is good for you, even healthy, but enough of it can cause thyroid problems. Yikes. Well, that is a wild price to pay for eating what basically tastes like crunchy grass. 53 out of 100. And finally, we have trombiculidae. Some places call them chiggers, still others call them mites. These are arachnids that latch onto your body, lay their eggs under your skin, and then their little babies come out and feast on your blood until they're mature enough to go victimize someone else's leg meat. You ever go out and play as a kid in the grass, and you get those itchy red marks on your leg, like those rashes? Probably just chiggers, and they're burrowing in there, turning your flesh into a maternity ward. They're not quite a 0 or a 1, as they are a food source for birds, bats, spiders, centipedes, ants, and lizards. But close enough. Let's give them a tardigrade of 5 out of 100. With a little prodding from management, we squeezed out more reviews today than we normally do. And yet we find ourselves no closer to everything. We'll get there one day. On the bright side, though, I did give a character from a movie a higher score than the movie itself. Top that. Thank you for attending the review session today. I hope you've enjoyed your time with the internet. If you'd like to join our workforce, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. Also, don't forget to clock out by pressing like. It lets them know that we've wrapped up for the day. And so until next time, I am Joshua from the reviews department, and I'm going home.